there is as we know, there is a certain orthodoxy that has come through the mainstream media in this country, for which is the reason that the platform was started up, because we'd like to think that we're slightly unorthodox on the platform, but we also like to think that we are a forum for free speech, and that ideas that may not be ventilated in the mainstream media can be ventilated here, A, and B, it doesn't matter where they come from. The point is, if you're going to have free speech and freedom of thought, then you need to have a media that endorses those concepts and allows views that are different to form expression without being ridiculed or platformed or deplatformed. The latest attempt at this would appear to be down in Southland, where a hitherto undistinguished, well, I'd not say he's undistinguished as a person, but no one's ever heard of him before, Invercargill City Councillor Barry Stewart has now made national news as a consequence of attending a council meeting, I think on Tuesday of this week, but we'll talk to him about that in just a second, at which he said, listen, he wants to make sure that European names are on infrastructure in his neck of the woods in Invercargill, and he is particularly thinking about a museum that is about to be built down there, I think it's about to be built, called Te Unua Museum of Southland, or Te Unua Southland Museum. Now, I've got no idea what Te Unua means. I don't understand why it's up front. I know that Southland needs a museum, and I'm assuming that it's going to be built almost exclusively by Southland ratepayers, with a bit of funding thrown in from various charitable and community organisations. But for suggesting, or having the temerity for suggest, that Maori names shouldn't be first on everything, which is what he said at a council meeting, he has been eviscerated, cauterised, criticised, and otherwise held up for ridicule by certain of the local media, of our mainstream media, most especially Radio New Zealand News, but I see it's on Stuff and a whole series of other mainstream media outlets as well. Joining us to talk about that, his treatment and his views on these matters, is, in actual fact, Invercargill City Councillor Barry Stewart, and he joins us now. Barry, welcome to the show. Good morning to you.
Good day, Michael. Where are you going, mate?
I'm very well. You were, what were you originally? I found out that you were originally a drain layer before you got elected or something. Is that wrong?
I was a gas fitter.
A gas fitter.
I'm a gas fitter.
And you retired from that, and you stood for council, and you got elected. Well done. Congratulations.
Yep. Thank you.
Now, so you go along, so you've been elected, 3 months? Is that right, Barry?
What's that?
Oh, no, more than 3 months. 15 months now.
15 months, yep.
15 months, right. And you're going along to a meeting, and there's a meeting at your Invercargill City Council, and they are talking about Te Unua Southland Museum. Yep. What exactly did you say that's upset so many people?
I object big time to having Maori names first and foremost ahead of European names for a reason that most people, visitors of New Zealand, do not understand what it means. And we've got a restaurant down here, the SITS restaurant, which is Southland Institute of Training. It's got a full Maori name on it, and do you think I know what it is? And I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. But the only way you know that it's calf is because it's got a little flag outside that says calf.
Okay.
So that's one instance. But
is it privately owned or publicly owned?
I think SITS own it. I'm not sure about who actually owns it, but it could be privately owned. But it's just objectionable just to see something with Maori name written all over it and you don't even know what it is.
Okay.
That's just one thing. I've got a few things written down here. I'm speaking. I can't talk as a councillor because I could get into trouble about it. So
what do you mean you can't talk as a councillor because you'll get into trouble about it?
I could possibly get into trouble with the rest of the councillors. So let me get
this right. So you're an elected councillor.
Yep.
I'm sure you're representative of some people. Well, you must be, otherwise you wouldn't got elected.
Yep.
And you're saying to me that you can't speak freely because you might upset some people.
Yeah, I will speak freely, but as Barry Stewart.
Can we
So
really
I just
separate Barry Stewart from Councillor Barry Stewart? Aren't you one and the same?
Probably not. But
yeah.
I just want a few points that I want to bring up while we're on here. That 80% of New Zealanders just want their beautiful country back to normal without any racial separatism like Maori health boards, and the Waitangi Tribunal is a perfect example. I'd like that taken away. I also need to remove this pepper or whatever it is.
Hey, pua.
Yeah, that's it. From our legal system.
It isn't in our legal system, but okay.
It gives Mary total influence over our system, and they're only 13.7% of the voting population of New Zealand.
Okay, but that's not what upset people. What upset people was that apparently you've got a new museum in Southland. Did you have an old one? Did you?
Yeah, we did. We've still got it. It's a problem.
Oh, okay, and so you're building a completely new one. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
I can't imagine a worse waste of money than what you're doing when you should be looking after your infrastructure, but there you go. And you've
most of our infrastructure's been done.
Oh, has it? So you've got spare money.
Unlike a lot of councils,
yeah,
our infrastructure in Invercargill was in really good shape.
Okay, all right. So now, so you've decided as a council you are going to actually build a new museum.
Yeah, that's right.
But my understanding is that this new museum was gifted its name by the Waihopai Runaka and Te Unua o Arawura, and that new name is Te Unua. Is that right?
That's right. That's right.
And you're saying, how bloody ridiculous. Why don't they just call it the Southland Museum?
That's right.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. You're entitled to say that, aren't you, without upsetting people?
I hope so. I think New Zealand's still a democracy at the moment, anyway.
All right. The suggestion is that you're racist, essentially. That is the suggestion in the media reports that have gone.
I know that, yeah. Well, I find it very hard to be a racist when I've got a lot of Maori friends, and my daughter's married to a Maori, and my grandchildren Maori, so I can't see the racism part of it.
Okay.
At all.
So your argument is that instead of Te Unua, the name being the name of the museum, it should be just the Southland Museum, which is pretty much what it is.
Yep. But
can I ask a question? Are the Waihopu Runaka, just to explain to people in New Zealand, down in the South Island, in Otago, Southland, they don't call them Runanga. They have a K instead of the G. So that it's the Waihopai Runanga. They are a separate sort of hapu, if you like, or a part of Ngāi tribe. Have they put any money into the Southland Museum?
Not as far as I know.
So why are they given the opportunity to name it?
Well, yeah. I asked that question as well. Didn't get an answer.